All right, so let's go through the first one here. So let's say, so the first thing I wanna go through is just a bit of timetables. Okay, so I want you to write this down. These are random timetables from question one, question two, question three, and question four. Random timetables questions. Okay. All right. The first one is I want you to calculate 9 times 8. The next one is 6 times 7. The next one is 9 times 7. And then the last one here, 11 times 12. All right. So press pause and try that. So let's go through each of these answers. Okay, we go through each of these solutions. Now, 9 times 8 is 72. Okay, 72. And 6 times 7 is 42. 9 times 7 is 63. And 11 times 12 is actually 132. Now, if you have to calculate this, you could break it up into smaller steps. For example, if you got 9 times 8, you could have broken it up into factors that would make it easier for you to understand, right? So I could make this into 3 times 3, which is 9. And 8, I could make it into 2 times 4, if it makes it easier for me to understand. All right, so if I did this, this is going to be 3 times 2, which is 6, and I'll group these two. And I can then change it around. I can say, oh, well, 3 times 6 is 18, and 18 times 4, if we go 6 times 4, is 24. And then 24 times 3 is the same as saying 24 plus 24 plus 24. And that's equal to 12. 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 2 is 5 plus 2 is 7. So that's 72. That's one way of doing it. You can just break it up into more easier steps like that. Another way of doing this is if you have 9, you can see 9 is close to 10, right? So that means if I had, this is 9 eighths, right? So this is 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 eighths here, right? So you got 9 eighths. If I put another 8 in here, I have a total of 10 eighths. And 10 eighths we can calculate quite quickly because 10 times 8 is equal to 80. So I could say, well, 9 is very close to 10, so let's make it 10 and calculate it to become 80. And then let's take away one of them. Let's take away one of these, and let's change the 10 into 9. So that means if I take away one of them, I just have to subtract 8 from 80. So then 80 minus 8 is more easier to calculate, and that comes to 72. I could have done that as well. Or I memorized my timetables, and I did it straight away like that. The next one is 42. We could do the same thing. We could take 6 times 7 and change it into 2 times 3 times 7. Then work this out. 3 times 7 is 21. 2 times 21 is like 21 plus 21. So all we've got to do is take 21 plus 21, and you end up with the 1 plus 1 is going to get you 2, and 2 plus 2 gets you 4. That gets you 42. Okay. So that's one way of doing it. You could use the other methods as well. Now, question number 3, you could do the same thing. Question number 4, we've got 11 times 12, and these are now bigger numbers. We've got a 2-digit number multiplied by a 2-digit number. Again, what we could do, we could change this 11 into 10 plus 1, right? Then take the 12, multiply it by the 10, which will give you a nice 120. Take the 12, multiply it by the 1, which will become 12, and then add it up to become 132. So 11 times 12 is going to be 10 plus 1, So 10 times 12 is 120, 1 times 12 is 12. We can add it up to get 132. Another way to work this out is to say, okay, well, 11 is also 12 minus 1. That means you can also take 12 times 12, and some people remember 12 times 12 is always 144, if you find it easier. And then 12 times 1 is 12, and then you minus that, 144 minus 12. 4 minus 2 is 2, 4 minus 1 is 3, 1 minus 0 is 1, so we get to 132. Okay, so there's many ways to work it out, and then obviously you can memorize your timetables up till 12. That'll be the best thing ever. That goes to timetables. Let's have a look at a little bit of revision on addition and subtraction. Okay, so let's look at some adding and subtracting of 3-digit numbers. Adding and subtracting of 3-digit numbers like this. So let's say I've got 3, 4, 9, and I want to add 2, 1, 3. When I add this, 9 plus 3 gets you 12. So that's going to be 2, and you carry the 1. 1 plus 4 gets you 5. 5 plus 1 gets you 6. Remember, this is your units column, this is your tens column, and this is your hundreds column. Always start from the right hand side and then work your way towards the left hand side. So we always start there, then we go there, then we go there. And when it goes over 10 or over 9, we take the tens and we move it over to the top, and then we just plus these together. 1 plus 4 gives you 5, 5 plus 1 gives you 6, and 3 plus 2 will get you 5. So the answer is going to be 562. When I subtract it, if I say, let's say I got 313 minus 249, and when you subtract, and you can't because the number below is bigger than the number above, then 3 minus 9, for example, you can't. So you're going to have to borrow. So you borrow from the 1, it becomes 0, and then you're left with 13. So now you're going to say 13 minus 9. 13 minus 9 is going to give you 4, right? Because 4 plus 9 is 13. So if you take 13 and you take away 9, you're left with 4. Now 0 minus 4 can't as well because 0 is smaller than 4. So always remember the top number has to be bigger, then you don't have to worry to borrow. So now I'm going to borrow again. I'm going to borrow from the 3, it's going to become a 2, and then this is going to become 10. Now I've got 10 minus 4. 10 minus 4 is now going to get me 6. So the 0 that was there now became 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 2 minus 2 is 0. The last one, don't worry, you can just put a dot there or just leave it out. That's going to be 64. So there's an example of addition, an example of subtraction. I'll give you a second to try this one here. Let's say you got 2, 5, 6, and you want to plus 1, 2, 5. And let's say you got 2, 5, 2, and you want to minus 1, 6, 5. Try those two over there. Press pause, try it, and press play when you're done. So the first one here we're plussing, okay? So what we have here is we got start from the right hand side, so start from the 6 and then plus downwards. So 6 plus 5 is going to give you 11. That means we place the 1 here from the units and the 1 here from the tens. Then 1 plus 5 is 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8. 1 plus 5 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8. And 2 plus 1 is 3. So your answer for this one here will be 381. Then this one over here, 2 minus 5, can't, so we borrow. The 5 that you borrow from becomes 1 less 4. That 1 goes to the 2, and that becomes 12. 12 minus 5 is going to give you 7. 4 minus 6 you can't do, right? So 4 minus 6, you can't do that. So you borrow again, but then 4 becomes 14. 14 minus 6 will give you 8. 1 minus 1 can't, and you're done. And that's going to give you the answer 87. And those are the two answers for those. Let's go on to the next one, right? So we're going to go on to the next type. Let's move on to a little bit of division. Okay, so a little bit of division. And in particular, I want to do a little bit of short division. For short division, let's say I've got a number like 3, and I want to divide it into a pleasant number that can divide by 3 completely. Let's say 3, 6, 9, 3, 3, 9. Quite a big number. 369,339. What you're going to do is divide 3 into 3. Now, 3 can go into 3 one time. If you got 3 and you fit it inside 3, you can fit it inside it once. If you go 3 and you divide it into 6, you can fit 2 of them in there. So you put 2 in there. If you take 3 and you put it into 9, it fits perfectly. 3 threes. And then again, 1 3, 1 3, and then 3 threes. So my answer is going to be 1 2 3 1 1 3. But numbers are not necessarily always so nice. You always have sometimes a remainder. So let's change it up a bit and let's put some even numbers in there. Let's say I got 4, 7, 8, 4, 4, 8. Now in this instance, when I divide 3 into 4, there's going to be 1 left. So it goes into there one time, and you have 1 more left. We call that number the remainder. So the remainder we take and we carry it next to the 7 on the top right hand side of the next number. In this case, it's 7. That number becomes 17 now. Now, when I go 3 dividing into 7, I have to actually divide it into 17. So I'm going to go 3, 3, 3, 3, and let's add it up. Maybe I'll just do a quick table so I can, if I'm not sure how many times can 3 go into 17, I can quickly just add it up. So if I go 3 plus 3 is going to give me 6. 6 plus another 3 gets me 9 plus another 3. And you can do it in your own way like this. Gets you 15. And now we're getting closer because if I plus another 3, I'm going to get to 18, which is too much because I need to get to 17. So that's too much. I don't need that 3. I don't need that 18. Let's count to 3. How many times are we going there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times into 17. And it ends up as 15. So how far is 15 from 17? It's got a remainder of 2. So now I've got an extra number of 2, which I'm now going to put next to the 8. Because it was 15 plus 2, I would get 17. Now 3 goes into 28. 3 goes into 28 how many times? We could continue with these and say, okay, well, maybe if I had my 3 times tables nearby, I could understand it better. So this is going to be, or go faster. I got 3 plus 3 again, I get 21. Plus 3 again, I get 24. And if I continue in this fashion, let's say about here somewhere, if I start from 24 and I plus 3, I'm going to get 27. And if I plus 3 again, I'm going to get 30. All right? That's too much. I want to go to 28 only. Now, 3 goes to 28. Again, 3 times tables helps. We can also divide 3 into 28. We could maybe even use a short division, which is ridiculous, but I mean, that doesn't make sense. It's actually got to be something. How would I break up 3 into, how would I break up 28 into 3 equal parts? So I've got to look at the number 28 and say, okay, this is one way of doing it. Another way is I could say, well, 3 times 10 is very close to 28. It's 30. And if I minus 2, I will get 28. Which means 10 is 1 more than the number I need. So 3 times 9 looks like the number I need. And 3 times 9 is 27. And 27 plus 1 will be 28. And that's what we want. And our remainder is going to be plus 1. So if I go 3 goes into 28, however you figure it out, 3 goes into 28 9 times. 9 times 3 is 27. So the remainder is 1. Then we go to 14. 3 can go into 14. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 times because you can see it goes up to 12. And the remainder is 2. 3 goes into 24 very nicely. So 3 times 8 is 24. 3 can go into 8 2 times. But there's a remainder and there's no numbers left. So we write REM, which is remainder, and we say 2. So my final answer for this comes to 159,482, remainder 2, which is 159,482, remainder 2. This is just a bit of a recap on short division for you. Now try this one here. Let's try this one here. Let's say I got 2 goes into a number. Let's make it a bit of both. So let's say I've got 2 goes into 4, 5, 2, 4, 6. All right, write that down. Try it and see what happens, right? Press pause, and when you're ready, press play. So can 2 go into 4? Yes, it can. 2 times, because 2 plus 2 is 4. Can 2 go into 5? Yes, it can. 2 times. But then you're left with 1, which is your remainder. We put it over there next to the 2. And this now becomes the number. This number here becomes 12. This number becomes 12. Now, how many times can 2 go into 12? 2 can go into 12 6 times, because 6 times 2 is 12. Then we continue. 2 goes into 4 now, because there's no remainder, is 2 times. And 2 goes into 6 3 times. So that's going to be my final answer, 22,623. The next thing I want to look at is multiplying by 10 when you have a decimal, and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000 when you're dividing by a decimal. So multiplying and dividing by 10, 100, and 1,000. Okay? Let's suppose in an example I gave you 6.4, 6.4. Now I put a point. Point would be the decimal. 6.4, like $6.40. It's a fraction of the whole, the 0.45. That's your decimal, and that's your units. That's your whole number. So if you have to write this out, I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in circles. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 0.4 will be like a fraction of the circle. Can you see that? So 6 and 0.4. That's what's happening over here. 6 plus 0.4 gives you 6.4. Now if I got 6.4 and I multiply it by 10, what I must remember is that when I'm multiplying by 10, I move the decimal to the right. Okay? So multiply means that I move it to the right. And I move it to the right by however many zeros. Now, how many zeros do I have here? I have 1 0. So I'm going to take that 1 0 and I'm going to move the decimal to the right. So this decimal, which is over here, is going to move over the 4. And it's going to end up next to the 4 on the right hand side, giving me 64. And that's the answer. So what have I done? I've taken 6.4 and I multiplied it by 10, and it jumped 1 space to the right. But when I multiply by 100, I've got 2 zeros now. I have to jump 2 times, which means I have to add a 0. And if I'm multiplying by 1,000, I have to jump 3 times, and then that means I have to add another 0. But what's jumping? The decimal, right? The decimal is jumping every single time. Okay? So the decimal is jumping 3 spaces to the right. The decimal is jumping 2 spaces to the right. The decimal is jumping 1 space to the right, depending on the number of zeros. 1 0, 1 jump. 2 zeros, 2 jumps. 3 zeros, 3 jumps. Now let's say you try this one here. Let's suppose I give you the following question. I got 3.2 and I want to multiply it by 100. All right, try that question and see if you can get it. Press pause, try it, press play when you're done. All right. So for this one here, remember you're multiplying. So when you multiply, you're going to move the decimal to the right. The decimal at the moment is just there. All right, so I need to take that decimal. I need to jump it to the right. But how many times do I jump it to the right? I got to jump it by the number of zeros. So I've got 2 zeros, so I jump it twice. The first jump goes over the 2. The second jump goes into space, so we put a 0 there. But when I rewrite this, or write the answer or the solution, this is going to be, I've jumped, moved it away, now the 2 goes next to the 3. Then I jumped again, and I add a 0 in. So my answer here is going to be 320. All right, I'll give you another one quickly. And let's say let's go to a little bit of division, right? Let's say we go to a little bit of division. The division works in a very similar way, but instead of jumping to the right, we jump to the left. So when you divide by 10, 100, or 1,000, you're going to go left. Okay? Your comma is going to jump towards the left-hand side. So let's say I've got 29.45, and I want to divide it by 100. Because I want to divide it by 100, I have to move the decimal to the left. That's what it says. And I also have to move it how many times? 1, 2 times. So that's 1, and that's 2 times. So that decimal actually moves. That decimal actually moves. Oops, I have to click on it there. That decimal actually moves and goes there. And when it goes there, these numbers come together. So the 4 and the 5 will come next to the, like that. Yeah. And then what do we put in front? We put a 0 in front. We put a 0 in front, and then we've answered the question. So the answer is 0.945. All right, let me just repeat that again, right? So here we go. So we got 29.45. We want to divide it by 100. So we move it 2 spaces to the left. Can you see? Move 2 spaces to the left. And then we bring everything together, put a 0 in front, and we're done. And that's my solution for that one there. I'm going to give you one more. Try this one now. Let's say I got 39.34, and I want to divide it by 100. Try that one. Get your answer. Press pause and try it. Press play when you're done. All right, so let's go through this one. So what we have here, remember the decimal, we're dividing, so we're going to jump to the left, and it's going to jump 1, 2 spaces to the left, and we're going to end up at 0.3934. So that's your question, and that's your answer, 0.3934. Now I'm going to give you one question of each, and let's see if we can do a quick recap on these, right? We're going to do a little bit of mixed timetables, mixed addition and subtraction, short division. We'll use numbers which are nice. Multiplication and division by 10, 100, or 1,000. All right, so let's say we start with timetables. Let's say I give you the first question here. I want you to work out 6 times 5. Addition and subtraction. I got 3, 4, 7 minus 2, 1, 8. Division. I've got 3, and I want you to divide it into 36. And then multiplication and division. I got 29.4, and I want to multiply it by 10. So go ahead, try those questions, see what you can do. Press pause, try those questions, and press play when you're done. Try it, give it a go, let me know when you're done, okay? Okay, so let's go through each of these. The first one here, 6 times 5, your answer should be 30. Then 7 minus 8 you can't, so you borrow from a 4, it becomes a 3. 17 minus 8 is 9. 3 minus 1 is 2. And 3 minus 2 is 1, giving you 129. 3 divides into 3, 1 time. 3 divides into 6, 2 times. So your final answer is 12. And when you multiply by 10, you have to move your decimal to the right, and you have to move it 1 space to the right. So you just take the decimal, move it over the 4, and put it next to the 4 on the right hand side, bringing the 294 together, becoming 294, final answer basically for that one over there. And that's it for that.